You're watching.
You're watching.
You're watching.
You're watching PSM Racer TV.
Welcome to Vance Hines. I'm Eddie Craywick.
I'm Andrew Hines. Right now we're standing in our engine shop and dyno facility. I'll let Eddie take you through here.
Pretty much as you pan out and you take a look here, you can see there's a whole bunch of benches. After you look at it, it's a breakdown here of Suzuki engine parts as well as our Harley program, and not just those two. We are a multifunctional facility. We don't just work on Harley Davidson or Suzuki Pro Stock motors. We also work on, could be a wide array of any type of cylinder head. We have a XR road racing program. We also work with a lot of guys in motocross, standard AMA, drag bike racing. As you see here on the workbenches, pretty much the first 9 benches here are dedicated for our Suzuki program or some other stuff that we have going on, some current R&D projects. Far side over there are dedicated to our Harley program. We have everything basically once they come in from a race, whether it be our motors or one of our customers' motors, we put it on the bench, tear it down, take it apart, and then we take the parts that need to be machined or worked on into a different area. And then from that point on is where all your engine servicing begins. Coming up on the right here are 3 dyno cells that we use.
Basically the motor gets bolted on the dyno plate here, and we can hook up the drive shaft to the output shaft. It's got a load cell right here on the dyno rotor, and that determines how much horsepower it's making. Kind of, you look at this stuff, it kind of gives you some basic information on what the engine is doing, and then the load cell is reading the horsepower through the dyno sweep, and then it displays it on the end when you're done, so you can print it all out.
We come over to the area where we do a lot of our valve jobs and working on the cylinder heads. As you can see, our cylinder head guy, Luciano, here is working on an XR head that will be pretty much taken down, new valve job, resurfacing of the head, which is done in a different area in this shop, and then we put the valve job on it, service it, put it back together, and send it out and put it on the motor. So sitting down doing a little port work is Blake Ritter. He's just going over one of our cylinder heads and making sure it's up to par and is 100% fresh.
So this is our hand mill and hand lathe area. This is where we do a lot of fabrication on all our Harley Davidson V-rods. Not to mention the engine parts that we do in this area. Over to the far side, you can see the CNC shop.
Chip is one of our lead R&D guys that does a lot of development work on a lot of those street bike exhausts that you have on your motorcycle. So here we are in our CNC area. Our shop houses roughly 9 CNC machines, a bunch of CNC mills and lathes, as well as 2 5-axis CNCs. A lot of stuff goes on here. We don't just use it to make engine parts. We actually, as a manufacturing facility, we make our own end caps for our own exhaust systems. Starts out as a raw piece of material right here, and you stick it in the CNC and it comes out as a nice finished end cap. So it's not just motorcycle stuff that happens here in our shop. There's a lot of other things too.
This truck's actually our old NHRA trailer, which has been turned into a Vance Hines display trailer, which runs to Sturgis and Daytona and Biketoberfest and all the major bike rallies around the country. So we've had it since 1989, and it's still running up and down the road, and figure we turn it into something good use and send it to all the shows.
So here we are in the driver's lounge of the Transporter. This is basically Andrew's and my little retreat. After a run, we come back here, change, do what we need to do, and go back out and work on the motorcycle. So this is sort of the conference area when you want to come in, sit down, review a run, or just think about things for a few minutes. This is where we tend to do it. So here we are out of the driver's lounge of the trailer, and it's pretty interesting. Our trailer has a crew chief station which this is basically dedicated to Matt, which would be serving as crew chief for Andrew and I both. And what this is we lay out 2 computers, sort of got all our data, all our download stuff, and all our tuning software. This pushes out, gives us a little bit of an extra room. This is sort of where you brainstorm. Everybody sits down, figures out, talk about your tune-up, sort of come to a conclusion on what changes you are and aren't going to make. In this area we house both motorcycles when we go to each race. You can see there's lots of cabinets here. We happen to store engines right here. Andrew could tell you a little more about that.
This trailer was originally designed for top fuel engines, so these were all built to store short blocks for the top fuel engines. So our engines just slide right in, fit perfect. We carry 4 spares with us to each race, and not including the 2 that are in the bikes, so we have 6 motors between the 2. We all have our certain numbers that we like each race. We don't have names for any of our motors. They're all just numbered 121, 125, 123. You kind of get stuck on a number sometimes, so we just we stay with each other. We each have 2 set motors, and the other 2 are floaters. We call them last-ditch effort motors. They're all the same, but you don't want to get to that point where you need the 3rd motor in a weekend. So
if you're going through 3 motors, it's a bad weekend.
So the rest of the trailer is just all storage with cabinets and tools, and we haul customer engines in the back there with our 4-cylinder stuff, and all kinds of spare engine parts, extra cylinder heads, cylinders, blocks, everything. We got every Matco tool we could possibly order out of the catalog, and it's just a rolling circus going down the road. And everything that you see out at the track when it's set up in the pit area all rides either down here or upstairs. So a lot of stuff gets packed into this small trailer.
Trailer rough weight with the truck and trailer going down the road is about 80,000 pounds.
About 79,000.
So it's definitely a lot of, this trailer has a lot of cool little extras, a lot of nice shineless stainless steel. So when you add all that, it adds weight, and not just it's not just the motorcycles like Andrew explained. We have our hospitality areas and lifts and all those accessories that we have for the pit. It's all sitting above us right now.
A couple of V-Rod street bikes and big Matco tools, tool carts, and everything that requires us to race for one weekend we have to take with us. So it all gets stored in here, and like I said, it's one heck of a ride going down the road.
So here we are at eyes level of the top half of the trailer. It's actually really empty right now. When this thing is going down the road, the whole entire floor is covered with either golf carts, motorcycle lifts, 2 extra pit bikes. So there's definitely a lot of stuff that fits in here. It's not just like this all the time. So we'll let Matt take over from here because this is Matt's room. This is his environment.
Well, this is the race room. This is where we bring the bikes in after every race, tear them apart, pull the motors out. Motors pretty much get yanked out after every event. Motors get gone through in the engine room, and the bikes are looked over in here. It's where we come up with a lot of our R&D ideas about what we're going to be doing with the bikes during the off season. Come up with different technologies that we could apply to the engines and the chassis. So yeah, basically once we build a frame off the jig out there in the R&D area, we bring it in here and do the final assembly. And we built these 2 bikes here about a year and a half ago, and pretty cool place to work.
Thanks to PSMRacer.com for coming out to Vance Hines.
Hope everybody out there watching this enjoyed the tour of the facility.
Hope you had a good time, and we'll see you at the races.
Go ahead and say her again. Thanks to PSMRacer.com for coming out to Vance Hines to show. Go ahead.
The show.
Thanks to PSM Race. Oh, go ahead. Thanks to PSMRacer.com for coming out to. No. Thanks to PSM Racer for coming out to Vance Hines.
Okay, I think that's really good, but let's do one more.
I was gonna say,
to make sure.
take 10.
Yeah, I can break